Morning, y'all. It's the Hillbilly Goddess, and I'm talking to you from downtown Las Vegas today in the United States of America. Today is the day after Valentine's Day. It was really quiet yesterday. Holidays have become kind of weird for me as I'm getting older. I don't really do all the hype anymore quite as much. I'll write more on that later because I have my own thoughts about Valentine's Day specifically. I believe that we should love every day, and that's what I think, and that's what I'm sticking to. Harvey's up here helping me today. It looks like you guys really like when I read to you, so I'm going to be doing some more of that. I'm getting an awful lot of numbers from that. I don't know really why, but I've had some of you tell me that you can't even understand English, but you put the translation on there. So if you do that, forgive me, because I come from hillbilly country, which means that my English is very lazy and I chop off the ends of words a lot. I will try to enunciate a little better. But I love to read, and I love to read to people. I've had partners over the years who liked me to read them to sleep, and my little son, I read him to sleep till he was a big boy. The cadence of poetry and reading is something that I really love. So today, since we're talking about love this month, and since my platform is planting love seeds all the time, I'm going to read a little chapter in The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. He wrote several books in a set, and many of these I've had in my library for years. I got many years ago on my journey to being a better person about 30 years ago. And a lot of them I'm pulling back out, and it's exciting to look at them now and see the progress I made and the progress I still need to make. And so I'm just going to share thoughts with you and readings and little excerpts. I had a writing in my head last night, but I was just too tired. The kids at school were crazy yesterday with Valentine's. So here we go. This chapter is called The Man Who Didn't Believe in Love, and this one resonates with me quite a bit. I want to tell you a very old story about the man who didn't believe in love. This was an ordinary man just like you and me, but what made this man special was his way of thinking. He thought, love doesn't exist. Of course, he had a lot of experience trying to find love, and he had observed the people around him. Much of his life had been spent searching for love, only to find that love didn't exist. Wherever this man went, he used to tell people that love is nothing but an invention of the poets, an invention of religions just to manipulate the weak mind of humans, to have control over humans, to make them believe. He said that love is not real, and that's why no human could ever find love, even though he might look for it. This man was highly intelligent, and he was very convincing. He read a lot of books, he went to the best universities, and he became a respected scholar. He could stand in any public place in front of any kind of people, and his logic was very strong. What he said was that love is just like a drug. It makes you very high, but it creates a strong need. You can become highly addicted to love. But what happens when you don't receive your daily dose of love? Just like a drug, you need your everyday dose. He used to say that most relationships between lovers are just like a relationship between a drug addict and the one who provides the drugs. The one who has the biggest need is like the drug addict. The one who has little need is like the provider. The one who has the little need is the one who controls the whole relationship. You can see this dynamic so clearly because usually in every relationship there is one who loves the most and the other doesn't love, who only takes advantage of the one who gives his or her heart. You can see the way they manipulate each other, their actions and reactions, and they're just like the provider and the drug addict. The drug addict, the one who has the biggest need, lives in constant fear that perhaps he will not be able to get the next dosage of love or the drug. The drug addict thinks, what am I going to do if he or she leaves me? That fear makes the addict very possessive. That's mine. The addict becomes jealous and demanding because the fear of not having the next dosage. The provider can control and manipulate the one who needs the drug by giving more doses, fewer doses, or no doses at all. The one who has the biggest need completely surrenders and will do whatever he can to avoid being abandoned. The man went on to explain to everyone why love doesn't exist. What humans call love is nothing but a fear relationship based on control. Where's the respect? Where's the love they claim to have? There is no love. Young couples in front of the representative representation of God in front of their family and friends make a lot of promises to each other. To live together forever, to love and respect each other, to be there for each other through the good times and the bad. They promise to love and honor each other and make promises and more promises. What is amazing is that they really believe these promises. But after the marriage, 1 week later, a month later, a few months later, you can see that none of these promises are kept. What you find is a war of control to see who will manipulate whom, who will be the provider, and who will have the addiction. You find that a few months later, the respect they swear to have for each other is gone. You can see the resentment, the emotional position, and poison, how they hurt each other little by little, and it grows and grows until they don't know when the love stops. They stay together because they are afraid to be alone, afraid of the opinions and judgments of others, and also afraid of their own judgments and opinions. But where is the love? He used to claim that he saw many old couples that had lived together 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and they were so proud to have lived together all those years. But when they talked about the relationship, what they said was, "We survived the matrimony." That means one of them surrendered to the other at a certain time. They gave up and decided to endure the suffering. The one with the strongest will and less need won the war. But where is that flame they call love? They treat each other like a possession. She is mine, he is mine. The man went on and on about all the reasons why he believed love doesn't exist, and he told others, "I have done that already. I will no longer allow anyone to manipulate my mind and control my life in the name of love." His arguments were quite logical, and he convinced many people by all his words. Love doesn't exist. Then one day this man was walking in a park, and there on a bench was a beautiful lady who was crying. When he saw her crying, he felt curiosity. Sitting beside her, he asked if he could help her. He asked why she was crying. You can imagine his surprise when she told him she was crying because love doesn't exist. He said, "This is amazing, a woman who believes that love doesn't exist?" Of course, he wanted to know more about her. "Why do you say that love doesn't exist?" he asked. "Well, it's a long story," she replied. "I married when I was very young, with all the love, all these illusions, full of hope that I would share my life with this man. We swore to each other our loyalty, respect, and honor, and we created a family, but soon everything changed. I was the devoted wife who took care of the children and the home. My husband continued to develop his career, and his success and image outside of home was more important to him than his family. He lost respect for me, and I for him. We hurt each other, and at a certain point I discovered that I didn't love him, and he didn't love me either. But the children needed a father, and that was my excuse to stay and to do whatever I could to support him. Now the children are grown, and they have left. I no longer have an excuse to stay with him. There's no respect. There's no kindness. I know that even if I find someone else, it's going to be the same. Because love doesn't exist. There is no sense to look around for something that doesn't exist. That is why I'm crying." Understanding her very well, he embraced her and said, "You are right. Love doesn't exist. We look for love. We open our heart, and we become vulnerable just to find selfishness. That hurts us even if we don't think we will be hurt. It doesn't matter how many we have, the same thing happens again and again. Why search for love any longer?" And I'm going to stop right there because I've got to get to work, and because we're sitting on 8 minutes right now. I've got about 5 more pages to read, so when I get in from school, I'll give you the second part. Why even search for love? That's my question to you today. Why even search for it any longer? Okay, I wish you all the love because I still believe in it. I'm a hopeful optimist, and I believe there's different kinds of love. So I'm sending love from downtown Las Vegas, and I'll give you part 2 this afternoon. Stay tuned.